The first Federal Executive Council meeting for the year 2024. We wish to use this opportunity to thank you, members of the press, once again for all the support and cooperation that you have given to government thus far. We also implore you to continue to support government in its desire to deliver programs and services in line with the President's renewed hope agenda. We have said repeatedly that the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is desirous of ensuring that information, credible information, is being passed on to the Nigerian population honestly, timely, and sincerely. It is in that direction that each time, of course, it is the tradition as well, that each time the Federal Executive Council meeting is held, proceedings or conversations that happened on that day is usually ventilated to the Nigerian people through you. Today, I'm here with the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Honorable Minister of Health, and Coordinating Minister for Social Welfare, and of course his Minister of State. And of course I have to the extreme left, the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment. Today's FEC was in two segments. The first one was the swearing in of a member of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission from Rivers State, after which deliberations on government activities began. The federal government today approved the group life assurance for all federal government staff as submitted by the head of service. About 12 companies were involved, Nigerian insurance companies were involved, and about 9.8 billion naira was approved by council to settle the group life assurance claims. There was also a consideration for the approval of the elimination of double taxation that also came up at council today. Of course, details of this will be provided by each of the ministers concerned. I will invite the Honorable Minister of Defense to talk about those things that concern his ministry that were discussed at council.
Raised. 3 people died and 77 others were injured after a massive blast rocked more than 20 buildings in Ibadan, one of Nigeria's largest cities, Tuesday night. The state's rescue marshal described Wednesday the events of the night of the tragedy.
I heard about this disaster last night between 7 and 8 in the evening. there was a very loud blast. But as at that point, we cannot really locate the exact location.
Ministers will give you their briefings, and at the end of it all, we'll entertain questions from the press regarding those issues that were raised. We implore you to, as much as possible, keep the issues to the deliberations that happen in council so that we can have a focused deliberation. Once again, thank you very much. Let me invite the Honorable Minister of Defense to give his own briefing. Thank you.
In today's deliberation, the explosion in Ibadan was raised, and the government sympathized with the victims and the very good people of Oyo State. And currently, investigation is ongoing to find out the real cause of the blast and to see how best we can prevent it happening in the future. After that, there is the issue of environmental protection, as well as mining areas protection and forest protection were discussed. And a committee was set by Mr. President that includes all the security agencies, the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Solid Minerals, to look into all these issues and see how we can provide lasting solution to stop the issues that centers around environmental degradation, both in our forests, in the mining sites, and also the rampant illegal mining and the control of ethics in the mining sector. Those are the issues that relates to Ministry of Defense.
Consistent with the President's renewed hope agenda, which puts the human capital, health and social welfare of Nigerians at the center. Today, at the Federal Executive Council, Mr. President took 3 far-reaching decisions relating to the health sector. The first is on the rising cost of pharmaceuticals, the acute crisis that we have in the pharmaceutical price, the prices of pharmaceuticals, which is going beyond the reach of many Nigerians. Life-saving commodities, devices like syringes and needles, and the exit of major companies from our market. Those decisions also include the regulation of the sector to protect the health and well-being of Nigerians. And the third decision is regarding how we deal with the crisis of human resources in the health sector. The first on the syringes, drugs, pharmaceuticals, and other devices. As you will recall, Mr. President, in his wisdom, at the end of last year, in October, approved an initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain and appointed a coordinator for that. But we know that the price of pharmaceuticals have escalated and many entities have decided to withdraw, and some of the local manufacturers in Nigeria are struggling. Mr. President's intent is that we begin to take steps to enable the local manufacturers to survive, to thrive, and to deliver the basic commodities that are key to saving their lives. And he directed that the Attorney General of the Federation work with us to come up with an executive order, which is the mechanism through which he will act, given the concern that he has that many Nigerians are suffering from the cost of pharmaceuticals, as well as other devices. That is the first important step, and that should be coming out very soon. On the second front, the funding of the healthcare regulatory bodies, given the centrality of health regulation to protect the health and well-being of Nigerians, the regulators of health professionals, Medical and Dental Council, Pharmaceutical Council, Community Health Practitioners, Laboratory Science, all those regulators to ensure they are properly funded. Mr. President directed that they should continue to receive the funding that they had been receiving in the past, so that there is an exception relative to other professional associations that are not healthcare regulatory bodies. We know that absent strong regulation, quackery will go up. It may exacerbate the fleeing of health workers abroad, as well as many other untoward effects without strong regulatory bodies. And that's one of the pillars of our strategy, to improve governance of the sector, and regulation is part of it. And Mr. President took a decision to direct that they should be properly funded. And the third is regarding the acute human resource shortage that we have. We know, and having gone around many of our hospitals, particularly federal tertiary hospitals, the replacement of health workers that leave oftentimes takes a very long time, because waiver process takes several stages. Mr. President directed in council that the approval of those waivers be delegated to the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, so that it doesn't have to go through the Office of the Health of Civil Service of the Federation. That will hasten the replacement, the recruitment of health workers in terms of when those leave, and also those who are out there unemployed, within limits of their fiscal resources. All in all, to say that the President is very keen that we drive forward to safeguard the health of Nigerians, to earn the confidence, the trust of Nigerians, and to deliver for Nigerians in this new year that we have started. And the marching orders are very clear. And my colleague here, the Minister of State, can add more, but I think we know that we are on a path to execute and to earn the trust of Nigerians, consistent with the President's vision and his renewed hope agenda.
The three major steps taken in Council today to protect the health care of Nigerians. Mr. President is very keen on doing this. He's made this a huge part of his agenda to Nigeria, health care being on the front burner. I won't repeat what the coordinating minister said about the three major things. The other part I'm going to add to it is that there's a committee, a standing Federal Executive Committee that has been set up before that included coordinating minister for Minister for Finance, the Honorable Minister for Trade and Investment, Minister for Budget as well, that have been mandated to look at tariffs, levies, on how to protect our manufacturing sector. Today, healthcare sector, the as Minister of Health has been added to that committee. So we will work along a lot of the things the coordinating minister said, and what the President wanted was we need immediate solution to get to Nigerians. We have things that we need to do now so that Nigerians can begin to get succor from high prices of drugs and medical consumables. Those we're moving so quickly on. There's also the medium-term solution and long-term solution to protecting a manufacturing base. The committee will be working out rules or laws or legislation that will be made into the future. Thank you.
Ours in the Federal Ministry of Education is a note to the Council on the guidelines for the implementation of transnational education in Nigeria. Nigeria is a member of World Trade Organization since 1995 and also signatory to General Agreement in Trade and General Agreement of Trade in Services, which was signed in 1995. The GATS document included education as exportable services that can be done across border. And we are all aware that the effort of Mr. President to increase access to education with rising number of secondary school leavers who are seeking to be graduates or undergraduate in our tertiary institutions, the placement is becoming a serious issue. And therefore, the ministry come up with a policy of transnational education. What it means is that exchange of cross-fertilization of idea and exchange that regards to education can be done across borders. The documents provide a guideline whereby a foreign institution can collaborate with a local institution within the country, or can even come and establish a campus within the country so that we can widen the access of placement in Nigeria. It will also permit us to increase access in terms of widening the scope of research that is going to be conducted within the country. And not only that, economically, the transnational education, when well established, would decrease the pressure on dollar as an exchange means to go out there and secure education. And based on this justification, we presented a note to the council, which is of the policy document that was developed by National University Commission under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Education. And the council graciously notes the presentation of the document so that it can be implemented to increase access to tertiary education in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen of the press, today Council noted the rising cost of goods and services in the country, as well as the rising cost of doing business in Nigeria, and also noted the excitement and optimism of the real sector that the Renewed Hope Agenda will bring a prosperous 2024. We deliberated on how we can actually improve the manufacturing, the ease of doing, improve the business environment for manufacturers and industrialists. As you recall, the priority of this government is to promote and protect local industries and manufacturers. And this will mean that we must do all that is necessary to remove all the roadblocks and bottlenecks impeding or impacting businesses. His Excellency, the President, has always reiterated that Nigeria is open for business and that there are no more roadblocks. We are removing and we've removed these roadblocks. And these roadblocks include multiple taxation, multiple levies, custom duties and various levies that are imposed on businesses, infrastructural decay, including power. As you recall, the President already set up the Presidential Council on Industrial Revitalization, as well as the Presidential Council on Fiscal Reform and Tax Policy Review. All of these two major councils were set up in the past. The Presidential Council on Industrial Revitalization was set up in October, and the Presidential Council on Fiscal Policy and Tax Review was set up in July 2023. His Excellency now mandated that the committee or this council must fast-track their reports and their review and come up quickly with their recommendations so that the real sector and the citizens can begin to feel the impact of the Renewed Hope Agenda. As you will recall, the Presidential Council on Industrial Revitalization includes the following: the Committee on Consumer Credit, Committee on Artisan Certification and Licensing, Committee on Trade Facilitation, Committee on Commodity Exchange, Committee on Mining and Solid Mineral, Committee on Oil and Gas, Creative Economy, Steel and Heavy Industries, and now Healthcare has also opted to join the Presidential Council, as well as the Committee on MSMEs. The FEC noted that when this committee finalizes its review and comes up with its report, that we will be implementing policies that will jumpstart the economy again and see us experiencing a double-digit growth rate in the GDP, as well as being on track to achieve the vision of His Excellency to achieve a $1 trillion economy. For this to happen, we have been mandated and charged to come up with the resolution from those committees as quickly as possible. And when this is implemented, we expect to see more creation of jobs, drop in prices of goods and services, and a total revival of the economy. And we assured the FEC that we will do all that is necessary to come up with the resolution as quickly as possible so that Nigerians can begin to enjoy the shared prosperity and the Renewed Hope Agenda in 2024. Thank you.
Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, so many issues were discussed at the Federal Executive Council meeting today, all geared towards improving the welfare of Nigeria and Nigerians. One of the major issues discussed was the issue of double taxation, all with a view to encouraging foreign direct investment. This time around, it's about the relationship between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. You recall that a while ago, just I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the president was in United Arab Emirates. And one of the matters that came up for discussion and negotiation was the issue of the agreement for the elimination of double taxation with respect to taxes on income and prevention of tax evasion and avoidance. Council noted that the agreement between both countries, that is between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates, include personal income tax, company income tax, petroleum profit tax, information technology, levy, tertiary education tax, and capital gain tax. Because of the effect of this cooperation or the benefits that will accrue to Nigeria, the Council agreed and directed that the agreement that had been signed already should be taken further by mandating, authorizing the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to prepare a bill along this line to take to the National Assembly for ratification. The effect of this is that it has ceased to be an ordinary agreement, but an agreement between two countries. Other countries will follow, but the one that we immediately leverage on is the one between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. Apart from this one, Council also decided that going forward, we should also have a very solid national policy on taxation that will drive or attract foreign investment. So on the part of the direct foreign investment, this was what was discussed and decided at the Federal Executive Council. Thank you.
Council also approved the ratification of the Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement between Nigeria and the UAE. And with the approval, we can now send the already signed IPPA to the National Assembly for ratification. And also, the Council also approved that the Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment should also immediately invoke Article 26 or so of that agreement, which mandates that we can review and ratify and review and amend some sections of the IPPA to favor or to conform with the current existing IPPA model that we are using, which is the 2016 model. So that has been ratified and, that has been approved for ratification, and we will immediately proceed to invoke the section that will enable us to review and amend the sections that were not originally viewed to be favorable. Thank you.
Very much, Honorable Minister. The first question has to do with the explosion in Ibadan, where the governor suggests at the preliminary investigation revealed that there are some explosives around the area that it happens that are owned by some illegal miners. While we have seen that report, there is another report that is suggesting also gas explosion. So our team are there to try to find out what is the cause. But the council, to be proactive, already set up the committee that I told you to look into how the control of explosive law is broken, if indeed there are explosives around the area where these incidents happen. And that was why the committee was set, to look at the law, the rules, to see where the chain is broken, and to see how it can be fixed, and gather more information if this is happening rampantly around the country. But you all know there is strict rule on the storage, movement, and ownership of explosives. And that rule is being monitored. And if there is any breakdown, we will find out and deal with it. On the case of kidnapping around FCT, yesterday, you are all aware that Mr. President called on us and all the service chiefs to discuss this issue. So concerted effort is being done by security agencies to really look into the situation and stop it immediately. As you are aware, people are panicking that are saying FCT. Well, these kidnappings happen around the suburb area of FCT in Buhari local government, majorly around towns or locations that are bordering Kaduna and Niger. And this is as a result of the current operation going on in the northwest and some part of north central. The bandits are fleeing and they are getting shelters around this. And the security agencies are working too very hard to push them out and block the movement and finish this thing once and for all. And the president has given us the marching order and all the support that the security agencies needed to end this thing. And on crowdfunding, we all know that there exists a law that prevents payment of ransom. So it is very sad for people to go over the internet, radio, asking for donation to pay ransom. This will only worsen the situation. It will not help the situation at all, as you have seen. Initially, they asked for, I think, 60 million. And now, because of this funding that they learned, somebody has raised 50 million already through friends and media. They jack off the ransom. We believe we have to stop, as painful as it is, we have to stop responding to payment of ransom. If we stop, over time, the kidnapping will not be profitable and they will stop. It's not easy though, but that is the rule that you all know. So we want to call in the people to please manage kidnapping situation very intelligently and very quietly. Because talking too much about it, more especially raising funds through the public media, is not productive at all and should be discontinued. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. The first question is on student loan scheme, which actually wasn't discussed at the FEC meeting today. But I'm about to say that I've been even at least I've granted a live interview with the TBC News for almost an hour addressing issues bordering the student loan scheme. January is a reality. Already the website has been, it's almost done. And the application for that, for beneficiary is going to be online. The criteria for you is to get your admission to be a Nigerian and find yourself in a public school, and you are qualified. You have to apply online, which will be processed timely, and you have to access your loan within 30 days. Fund has been kept aside in the 2024 budget, so also in the supplementary budget of the 2023. Barring all other the essence is to increase access and ease access to students that want to procure their higher education in Nigeria. And it's also mainly for tertiary institutions, not undergraduates. With this, I want also come to the last questions on the issue of the cost implication of the transnational education as far as the country is concerned, considering the funding of the public institution right now in Nigeria.